right, coming up next. Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers. We will have your Quiz-mania question of the day, and then we'll have Double Take Sports for you. We'll have predictions for the 19 games. Answer to Quiz-mania on the final parts of the podcast. So stay tuned for Double Take Sports Talk. From Indianapolis, Indiana, this is the Double Take Sports Talk show with the Watch Brothers. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Gerald and Darren Watts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it, Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers. Welcome to our podcast. Darren Watts, say hello to Darren Watts II, Deep Dub.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. Darren Watts, what's happening?
New day, new start.
Always.
Nothing but cheer. New day, start.
Always.
All right, so we have on the docket today, we have our Quiz-mania question of the day, and then we have Double Take Sports Court predictions for tonight's games with the answer to Quiz-mania and final thoughts of the podcast. You ready to do it?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. All right, Quiz-mania question of the day. Gerald, when you are good and ready, the floor is yours.
All righty. Of course, this Quiz-mania again, once again, has been the same from the past 2 days. It's just going to be more of an opinionated question. No right or wrong answer. So I really want to get Darren's thoughts on this, so I had to do this for Quiz-mania today. So here's the question for the Quiz-mania question of the day. Looking at the Colts offseason thus far, it's pretty much the same for the Eagles like we did yesterday. How will the Colts do this season? Do you think Andrew Luck will play this season? We can look at it from both sides of the ball. We can look at it from, just Andrew Luck's perspective. Anything in particular, what you think the Colts would do this season? So.
Got it.
So, crap. Okay. So think about it, harbor on it. So anybody watching this, of course, anybody who wanted to participate, of course, you can always hit us up on our social media sites using the hashtag Quiz-mania. And, of course, we will give you our thoughts on the Quiz-mania question of the day later on in our podcast.
Wow.
All right. I had a brain fart for a second there, too. Double Take Sports Court. Yeah, I know.
So did I.
Yeah, I did. I had one big time.
Yeah, and I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Double Take Sports Court. Darren, whenever you're getting ready, the floor is yours.
All right. Let's start out with, I'm still having a brain fart because I have no idea what I'm doing here. Let's take a look briefly at last night's game. There was only one game, and it was the Boston Celtics Milwaukee Bucks again. Durham touched up one in the recap. Milwaukee won 97-86. That was on the audio podcast, of course. I'm just doing it again on the video podcast. Giannis Antetokounmpo with 31 points, 14 rebounds. And on the behalf of other players on that behalf, nobody else really stood out on the behalf of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He really took it into his hands. He had 4 assists and 2 steals. And then on the Boston Celtics side, nobody really stood out on that behalf there either. But Al Horford had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Who is this? Is this Marquise and Marcus? Marcus Morris had 14 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. And then Greg Monroe only had 1 rebound. This series has been all about home court advantage. Now this is all about Game 7. This is winning time. Now this is winning time. It don't matter on the behalf of home court advantage, which player has an advantage. This is winning time.
Absolutely.
Game 7 on Saturday night. Daryl, your thoughts going into Game 7 for Saturday night? I know I probably will touch upon it again, but I doubt it. But going into Game 7, what do you expect to see out of this? Because I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be real. What I expect to see is every superstar or star or player give it their all. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's Game 7. It's winning time.
Yeah, this is the Game 7 right here. This is for any series. This is the Game 7 for like all the marbles. This is like a miniature NBA final standpoint when we're talking about Game 7s for the first round, semifinals, and the conference finals. You know, these are like miniature NBA finals because this determines your chance to actually move on either to the next round or win it all. You know, so like you said, everybody's giving it their all, without a doubt. They are going to put everything on the line like if it was their last game, which is pretty much it. So,
yeah.
So you're looking at this. We're going to see everybody. We're going to see everybody put on something, put on some sort of show. It's just going to be a different type of environment. This Game 7 is going to be different from all of the Game 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s and 6s. You know, this Game 7 particularly is just wholly different from the rest of the rest. So this is going to be very interesting to know how they come out with a lot of firepower and bringing energy. So I expect, man, I expect 110%. I don't see a blowout here either. So
no, I don't see
something's going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to the wire.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be a very interesting series. It's already been interesting because the home court that has been winning their games at home. It makes you think of a lot of the playoff games, except for the New Orleans Pelicans and the Portland Trailblazers. Absolutely no sense of home court advantage for Portland at all. So they really blew that. So we'll definitely look forward to Saturday night as they tip off 8 o'clock on TNT. It's interesting. That's a late night game.
Yeah.
That's rare. That gives me a lot of time. All right, going into the previews for tonight's games. One of them being the Cleveland Cavaliers, Indiana Pacers. I wanted to touch up on this one real quick because I'm just flabbergasted right now at what's really going on. This looked like this is going to be a Game 7. I'm looking for the Pacers to win at home, but frankly, they are not about to get ready to give up. They're not about to get ready to lay down in this series. They are going to, I think they're going to give it their all in this game to stay alive and go into Game 7 and hopefully knock Cleveland out in Game 7. Cavs won Game 5 off of a blown goaltending call, and Cleveland went on to win that game 98-95. In my personal opinion, everybody is slapping off of that goaltending call. You got to be honest. In Victor Oladipo would have went on and got that goaltend, and Cleveland still would have won that game anyway because they still would have won the 3-point for that game. That game would have been won instead of 98-95, it would have been 97-98. So I think they would have lost either way. Because they left too much time on the clock for Cleveland to come in and do something. Going into tonight's game, though, it's a new game and a new day. What do you look for Game 6, Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers?
If you want to talk fantasy, I could talk fantasy. But if we're talking real life, I could do that too. But
talk both. Talk both there. Talk fantasy and then talk real life.
Okay. Let's talk fantasy. Let me just talk fantasy real quick. Go to Game 6, tip it off, kick their ass, go to Game 7. That's the fantasy. Point blank period. No close games, none of that. Just go in there, tip it off, kick their ass, go to Game 7. That's the fantasy.
Yeah.
That's the fantasy.
Yeah.
That's just real talk. Now, you want real life? Here's my real life.
Real life.
Here's
real life, Gerald.
Here is my real life on what my thoughts on this game. They have got to find a way to shut LeBron James down. They got to find a way to get him off his rhythm. They got to find a weak point for him to get him off his rhythm. If the Pacers can do that, they have a higher chance of winning the Game 6 and going on to Game 7. But at the same time, the Pacers still has to remain balanced if they want to keep LeBron James off his rhythm.
They have to keep everybody off their rhythm.
Right. They got to keep everybody off their rhythm. But since everybody else's production hasn't been 100% up to par, it really wouldn't. Huh?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
It hasn't been 100% up to par because if it was, otherwise, LeBron wouldn't have scored 44. It would have been balanced just like the Pacers. You know, everybody scoring in the balance sheet. It was just balanced out. So that's just me and my personal opinion. I just think that the Pacers has to keep the balance going like they've been doing, sharing the basketball, scoring points like how they're supposed to. On the Pacers side for the Cleveland, they just have to get LeBron off rhythm offensively. Just offensively. Defensively, for LeBron, he more clutch. And if they don't need clutch in this situation, they don't need him defensively. That's just how I feel about it. So that right there really, I have of course a fantasy perspective to this, and then the reality perspective of it is just like, look, just go in there, kick their ass, and let's just move on.
Yeah,
just go on the game set.
Yeah, so you ain't got to go and
I mean, it's just like what they did Game 1. Yeah, just like Game 1. They went in there. Yeah, they went in there, tipped it off, kicked their ass, and they got it to move the Game 2. No difference.
It's nothing to it. Just
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing else to it.
Matter of fact, don't even do it. Not only just for this game, do it for Game 7 too. Do it for Game 7. Don't do it just for Game 6. Do it for Game 7.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaks of which, this game right here, I really just want this to end. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz. I really just want this game to end. I just want Utah to take Game 6 and go to the next round and let Paul George just sit there and simmer for a minute. That's what I really want. But that don't always necessarily mean that's what it's going to be.
You know,
what do you look for in Game 6 of this City Thunder Utah Jazz series?
You know what? I'm just going to say this firstly. Let me just say this. I personally believe that when you have a team like the Utah Jazz, you have something that's called opportunities. Okay. The Utah Jazz has really have gotten to the point in this playoffs to where that they had their ups and downs. They had collapse. They have had poor defense. They have had poor shooting games. And they had good shooting games. You know, they have their ups and downs. And this is the learning process that they're going through. And the good thing about the Jazz and what they're going through, it is to a more better experienced playoff team like the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got 3-2, seriously. They got a chance to take this game tonight at home. Is that right? Are they at home?
Yeah.
Or are they on the road? Okay. Okay.
Utah's at home.
Okay, good. They got a chance to knock them out at home. Higher percentage than anything. And that you can't really take away from a playoff experienced team. And when you mentioned about Paul George, and it's very agreeable to what you said, and I agree with everything that you said about Paul George. It's just letting that just simmer, you know, just letting that simmer, because you got to know your differences between being a leader versus performing in crunch time. You got to know that. Now, you say you left the Pacers because of they don't have a shot in the playoffs no more because they got swept last year. And now they're in the playoffs, and they're playing a rematch going into Game 6 with a shot of going to Game 7 and going to the next round, you know. So I feel that the Pacers felt very disrespected by that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very disrespected by that.
Kevin Pritchard, I mean.
Yes, mainly him. That's one. Mainly him. So there, I expect Utah to turn a favor for the Indiana Pacers and take them out of the playoffs. Boom.
Yeah.
Point blank period. Point blank period. You can't sugarcoat this anymore. It's because of Utah. If Utah loses this game tonight, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
It is. I agree.
That's gonna be tough. So they have to actually. Utah's really just gonna have to really play like they've been playing once before when they had the 3-1 series lead. They're gonna have to play like that. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
It really is. It's going to be tough, but I'm looking for Utah to actually stay strong, stay confident, and go ahead and win this series 4 games to 2. And even if they don't win it 4 games to 2, I'm looking for 4 games to 3. Either way, make a difference to me.
Absolutely. That also tells you right there that OKC still got, in my personal opinion, the people's gonna probably get mad at me when I say this, but they still got some real rebuilding to do. They got some rebuilding to do. And Russell Westbrook, in my personal opinion, needs to actually think more as of a team versus thinking about the triple-double stat line. If it's not there for you, man, don't do it. You seen towards the end of the season, 2 games left. Russell Westbrook needed what they say 36 rebounds. 2 games remaining, needed 36 rebounds to average a triple-double. And he did it. And I'm sitting up here like, they can have that. This ain't about my stat line. They can have this. I don't want this. I don't want
They
it.
can have that.
They can have
They
it.
can have that.
I don't want this.
Yeah.
Are you
It's
serious?
about the rings for me, Bill. About the rings.
Exactly. I want
About
the
the
rings,
I care
man.
about that.
Look,
Now, like I said, now I will go out there and do it. If it's the help for the team, I will do it. But I'm not like
Exactly.
a personal aspect of
Nah.
having triple doubles in an average statistical category. No, that's you had that.
Yeah, man, you can squash that stuff. You thinking that's in a period that's going to help your career and stuff like that. Yeah, that may help your career, but look, to me, the rings are more important to my career than more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. One last thing before we end this. Great champions have their struggles also. Going into it's just something that I just wanted to share on this behalf. Great champions have their struggle too. Going into March 7th of 1996, the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons matched off. Going into that game, Chicago Bulls was the number one three-point shooting team. Number one.
Who was number one?
Team in 19.
You said Detroit?
The Chicago Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls. They was the number one three-point shooting team. They went into that game and missed 15 consecutive three-point field goals.
Jesus.
Who was the first person that came in and hit their three-pointer to snap that 15? Who do you think it was?
It could have been, you said, what year was this?
1996, 1995-96 season. This is the year they went 72-10.
Okay. I got 3 people in mind.
3?
4, sorry. I got 4 people in mind.
4?
Yes.
I
got Jordan.
Pippen.
Kerr.
On
my main top 1, Rodman.
Narrow those down. Who do you think it is?
Rodman.
Nope.
I'll be damned.
You had it right the first time. You went directly in that straight line, and who it was. It was Jordan first, and then Scottie Pippen knocked in their consecutive three-pointer.
Oh, wow. Stop this.
I was sitting there watching that game before we had started this podcast, and I was fanatic about it because there were so many connections between the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls. Doug Collins being the former Bulls coach, and Dennis Rodman being the former Detroit Pistons player, John Sally, and there was one other guy, I can't remember the name. Just seeing that. But that just really just threw me way off guard. Breaking news just came out. Jason Witten is expected to retire after 15 years.
Who?
Jason Witten is expected to retire after 15 years in the NFL. The Cowboys veteran tight end will join the Monday Night Football broadcast booth as an analyst.
Yeah, I just got the notification. Wonderful.
There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Double Tech Sports Court. There you have it.
So, with that being said, on the docket next, predictions. Darren, whenever you are good and ready. Floor is yours, man.
All right, we're going to take a look at 3 games for tonight's game, starting with game number 1. Game 6, tip-off at 7, the Toronto Raptors, Washington Wizards. We are not using the 2K app once again. Darren, when you are good and ready, who do you have for the Toronto Raptors, Washington Wizards game?
This might go into 7, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Wizards in this game.
Home court advantage, I agree. I'm taking the Wizards.
Yeah.
All right, game 2, game number 6, 8 o'clock start time on the ESPN. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. Game 6. Daryl, who do you have in this game?
Pacers.
Court advantage. I agree again. I got the Pacers in this game myself.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a blowout. I would not be surprised.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Now, that I don't think so.
Well, the reason why I say that is because they have missed a lot of stuff from game 5 to the Pacers' advantage. So I would not be surprised if the Pacers come out with a fiery edge.
We'll see on that behalf. We'll see. And in game 3, game number 6, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder and Utah Jazz tip off at 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 on ESPN. So who you have in this game?
Jazz. It's home court.
Jazz
not only is it home court, but this is a wrap. I'm sorry.
It's a wrap up. I agree. I'm going with the Utah Jazz. Game 6, 10:30 ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Them are your predictions for Friday, April 27, 2018.
Okay. Quiz-mania. Answer. Of course, we're going to get into the Colts all season thus far. So before we get into the answer to that, before we get to Darren's thoughts, I'm just going to repeat this question real quick. From the Colts all season thus far, how will the Colts do this season? Well, off season. How will the Colts do this season? Do you think Andrew Luck will play at all this season? Darren, whenever you're getting ready, go for it.
I wanted to make sure one thing before I jump into it. Okay. I wanted to make sure that they had some. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that they had some transactions going into this question. They have quite a few. Signing Adam Vinatieri to a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I'm liking what they're doing, just based off what I'm looking at.
Uh-huh.
I'm liking what they're doing. They're picking up players from Kansas City, because that's probably Chris Ballard's connection on that behalf. Philadelphia. Very, very good picks. I'm liking it. Okay. Yeah, this not looking bad. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not looking bad. Chris Ballard's coming in there. Frank Reich is coming in, and they're making the adjustments. Like I said, this is still gonna probably be more of the confusing season because you had Josh McDaniels coaching positions. He had his team on there. So now you're trying to adjust to what you are giving. You're pretty much giving the garbage that Josh McDaniels has given you and setting you up into this failure, which I don't think is going to be a failure because Chris Ballard is not going to accept that as a failure because you failed. You failed, not Frank Reich. You did. This is your mess. All at the same time, this is your mess. So I think they're trying to clean it up. Frank Reich might try to make some coaching positions at the last minute. Might happen, might not. But if anything, they're doing very great. I personally see so far in the offseason. It's not like what Ryan Gregson did. Some bull. Get rid of Kobe Fleener and get rid of Dwayne. I think it was Dwayne. I don't know if it was him or if it was Chris Ballard. I can't remember which one. I think it was.
I think it was Gregson.
It might have been Gregson. Yeah, I mean, you got rid of your stretch tight ends. Whatever. But they're doing good, in my personal opinion. I think Andrew Luck might play some games this year. I don't think he's going to play a lot, but I think he will play some games. And on the behalf of their record, a lot of people go look at me like you must be crazy, but I'm just going to be honest. I think they will finish the season 9-7.
Do you think Andrew Luck will play the season?
Yeah, I just said he will. He'll probably play a few games.
Oh, you said okay. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he'll probably play a few games. Not a whole lot, but maybe a few.
Okay. Now, here's my thoughts. Looking at this offseason thus far, I have been very impressed with what they've done, and I have been more impressed mainly by how they have poised with Josh McDaniels backed out of the coaching job. Very, very impressed by that. They was patient, and they ended up picking up Frank Wright, which I think was also a very decent decision, which I think it was pretty good, and that he can actually bring something to the table. And at the same time, and as for Andrew Luck, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because that shoulder injury is more serious than what it's supposed to be. And so I pretty much agree with you. I give it probably a few games or none at all. So it looked like his playing chances are getting slimmer and slimmer, but we'll see how that works out. And I also agree with you, Darren. I think they also going to finish 9-7. I think they will finish 9-7 also. So,
of course,
those are our thoughts on the Quiz-mania about our hometown Indianapolis Colts. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Quiz-mania for April 27th, 2018. All right. Final thoughts, Darren. Talk to us. You got anything?
I don't.
Neither do I. So, if there's nothing else, we can wrap this up and get on out of here.
Yep.
All right, that is another edition of Double Take Sports Talk. If you like what you see, just give this video a thumbs up. How you feel about today's show, you just comment on the comment section as usual. Of course, we're on the social media sites of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can hit us up there. You can ask us anything. Doesn't matter which. You don't even have to be sports related. If you like it, of course, we'll even share it on our recording on the air. And we're also on iTunes. Download our episodes there. Till then, I'm Daryl. Darren's on the opposite side.
Yep.
All righty. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Until then, catch up with us on another episode of Double Take Sports Talk. Until then, ciao. Double Take Sports Talk here with me, Daryl Watts. Now, there's an understatement that always goes, that has always been true from day one when sports decided to come out, is that it can be very unpredictable. And of course, that's always been the statement, that's always been so true. And depending on how you look at it, it can be very unpredictable. But with Double Take Sports Talk, we just throw some entertainment in there. Even if we don't get predictions right or theories don't come out right, we always just throw a little entertainment into the mix. So why not just have a little fun with it? That's how predicting can be so fun if you make an entertainment out of it. But other than that, of course, I'm all for it. But anyway, we're on social media around the globe here. We're on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can hit us up on our fan page at the Watch Brothers. You can hit us up on Twitter at DTST2414. And, of course, you can hit us up on Instagram, Double Take Sports Talk. So, YouTube, subscribe. You can share. You can do all the good stuff. Do anything that you would like. We're just trying to grow a podcast here, folks. We're also on the iTunes. You can download our episodes there. We're on the video, of course, and we're on the audio portion too. So either way that you can enjoy this podcast, you can do it audio, we do it on video. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the podcast. And until then, ciao.